Today on DNVR Buffs Live, Colorado got themselves another corner, and this one is prime for prime. Let's get into it.
Buff Nation!
Let's go!
Squad! Coming to you live from the Toyota Lounge, driven by your Front Range Toyota stores. It is DNVR Buffs Live. We are officially in May. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just happened.
I've got a lot to get done before my wedding. That's what that made me think of.
And you gonna get it done, bro.
Oh, yeah.
And it's gonna be
Yeah,
legendary.
you have no choice.
Facts.
But we are like 2.5 months away from camp now, basically.
That's insane.
Maybe a
to
bit
think
more
about.
than that. But that's where we're at.
Also, thanks to Stoney for reminding me of this. Said RK's so happy the Lakers lost. Man, you could not be more right. God, that was nice. One playoff win is all they could muster up.
We tried to tell y'all Lakers in 5, man. We tried to tell y'all Lakers in 5. Obviously, that meant they going home in 5.
Yes, Lakers in Cabo in 5. Also, you want me to say hi to him while I'm down there?
Say what's up to the squad. For real, though, before we get into it, though, should we address the obvious here today on the show?
I don't know where you're going, but I know you're going somewhere.
It's the elephant in the room. I feel like we have to address it
Go
on the
for
show
it.
at this point.
Okay.
One man or 100 gorillas?
Okay. I knew you weren't going where I thought you were going. I just didn't know where you were actually going.
One man or 100 gorillas? It's the debate that's been taken over social media. What are our thoughts?
100 men versus one gorilla. I think you said it backwards.
Oh, you're right. 100 men.
This is pretty easy.
100 men versus one gorilla.
Okay, so mine comes down to semantics.
Same.
Is this like the fate of the world depends on, or the fate of humanity depends on men beating this gorilla, and thus we assemble our 100 best men with like our best general coming up with a plan to take down the gorilla? Or is this 100 random humans get dropped into an arena with a gorilla and it's immediate free for all? Because I think in option 1, the men win, and I think in option 2 they get absolutely slaughtered.
I think we agree kind of wholeheartedly there. Like, there has to be a plan.
Yes.
There has to be 100 carefully selected men to do this task, and there has to be a game plan. I think like you have to like game plans where we're like, all right, 20 people, you got one limb of the gorilla. 20 people got the other limb.
Yes.
Like you have like, 20 grabbing each limb, and you got like the final remaining 20 just like, I don't know, just
Going for
kicking
the
and punching.
eyeballs.
Yeah, the head of the gorilla. Like you have to have a plan, but any just random 100 people, no, that's not working.
No, of course not. You have to get the best of the best.
The best of the
I mean,
best.
you gotta have, like I said, this has to be the fate of humanity on the line, where like 10 people know they're dying immediately.
Yes,
for sure.
It's got to be like Navy SEALs, like dudes who are really built for this combat
Okay,
lifestyle.
but also, do you remember the thing like 2 years ago? We did it on the show too, but it was like the
Pac-12 animals.
Yeah, and the rest are coming to get you, and it's like the 10,000 rats just by numbers. Like
I do remember that. Yeah,
if 100 humans were going against a gorilla, like wouldn't 99 be enough to distract it so one could like tap it out or like choke it out or something? Like, you know what I mean?
You're not choking out a gorilla.
I don't
bro.
think one is doing
If
that.
99 others are doing something else though,
The only thing I think you could do is like gouge its eyes out.
I mean that'd be a pretty good start too.
And if you did that, I think the rest would take care of itself.
Yeah, I feel like it would have to be punches and kicks simultaneously to like the brain of this gorilla. Like just try to deliver like brain damage.
I was thinking like, have you seen how like
only thing?
have you seen how like if an outside insect infiltrates a beehive, they like swarm it and they kill it with heat.
Yeah.
Oh shoot!
So they put like so many around it and just like smother it.
That's crazy.
Until it, like maybe you could get like 10 humans on its back just like trying to suffocate it.
That's what I'm saying. Get like,
but then it's just gonna bite whoever's like over its mouth.
But no, this is why you get whoever has the strongest like headlock in the UFC or whatever, and that's your guy who is on the gorilla. 99 others are just trying to distract.
Damn. Reverse naked choke for the win.
Yeah. I mean, we'll let the gorilla tap if he wants to.
If you could scroll down all the way to the bottom real quick, Alyssa, to King David Cartel's comment. He goes, plan or no plan, the gorilla wins. Once an arm get ripped off, it's game over. See, that's why you
got to be prepared for
mentally
that.
strong individuals who expect some casualties.
You just drop like random people in there the second they see someone's arm get ripped off, and like, everyone's just running the other way.
Oh man. All right, should we address the other thing now?
That was great.
No,
that was good. Today on the show, what are we doing today? We're playing fill in the blank.
Ooh.
An early look at the 2026 NFL Draft. We'll talk a little Domata Peko Jr., a little Harrison Taggart, but we start today with Noah King, a massive commitment for the Buffs, a former 4-star in this most recent recruiting class. This guy's got all his eligibility. And he's like 6'2", 200 pounds.
Yeah.
So obviously a very talented player. Went to Kansas State, early enrolled in January. Ends up entering the portal after spring football just a few weeks ago. And now he's coming to the Buffs. I mean, this was a contested recruitment. The Buffs end up winning out. And now you have a prodigy to mold for the next 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that immediately sticks out to me is that he is the exact specs that Coach Prime covets so heavily at corner. And obviously you already have DJ McKinney who perfectly fits those specs as well. And I think, DJ McKinney is already getting mocked in the first round for next season. And so I think that development project is off to a really, really good start for Coach Prime. And if you could get both of these guys out there, immediately, which we'll see with Noah King, it's really like your matchups are so much more favorable from a cornerback position. And so teaching, these guys how to use that length and how to make plays on the ball and, do things that the 5'9" corners of the world can't do, could make this secondary really, really dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great ad. Obviously, like I said, if he came in this 2025 class, like people would be elated.
100%.
About a 4-star cornerback with, those traits. Like you mentioned, 6'2", 200 pounds. And, King was listed as a safety on Kansas State's roster here as an early enrollee, but he obviously confirmed to Alan True at 24/7 Sports that he is going to be playing cornerback at Colorado, which I love. And, I mean, is there a better place to learn from the quarterback position than Colorado?
Nope.
Under Coach Prime and obviously Kevin Mathis as well. Excuse me. So I'm really excited about Noah King. As you mentioned, all 4 years of eligibility. This slate is clean with this young guy. And to me, this opens up one of the most compelling position battles on this team now. That battle for the third cornerback. Obviously, DJ and Preston are the top two, but, RJ Johnson, Teion Parks, and Noah King, I think, are going to really compete for that third cornerback. Because whoever that third cornerback is, they're a starter. Like, they're on the field a lot of the time. So whoever that ends up being is going to have to be a really impactful player. So that competition, along with, Ivan Yates in the mix, Makari Vickers, assuming he can, recover from his heart surgery. It sounded like Kevin Mathis thinks that he will be able to be ready for fall
I'd say
camp.
He was optimistic.
Yeah, it seemed that way.
Yeah.
So, that's 7 guys, at least in your cornerback room, that you could potentially feel really good about. But that top 3 really in particular is going to have to solidify itself. And I'm really excited to see who ends up taking the reins there.
Yeah, this guy just checks a lot of boxes for what Colorado wants to do. First things first, you lose Colton Hood. You got to replace him, obviously. Now you get a guy who has recruiting pedigree that is that should be eye-opening. I think a lot of people were upset when Alex Graham ended up flipping to USC. Noah King on 247 and On 3 is higher rated than Alex Graham.
Wow.
In terms of what Colorado has done the last 2 seasons, they have been willing to play young freshmen, especially in the secondary.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what position, cornerback, nickel, safety. I mean, we saw Carter. Who was the young kid? Jaden Milliner-Jones in 23.
Miss him.
Obviously Cormani, DJ McKinney comes in as a redshirt freshman. Colton Hood was a redshirt freshman last year.
For sure.
So this just checks a lot of boxes, and not to mention the size thing. I mean, 6'2", 200, that's pretty big for a corner. We'll see, he's, as Scotty said, he's coming here to play cornerback, so you could expect him to start off there as soon as July and August, but if this guy keeps on growing, man, you might have a stud safety as well.
I just one real quickly thing on the height, the size of these guys. DJ McKinney 6'2", RJ Johnson 6'2", damn, Noah King 6'2", Tayon Park 6'1".
TJ Branch is like that too.
Those are 4 6'1" plus corners, in your room. And obviously, like you mentioned at the top, that's something that Coach Prime covets in that position. And they have they've gone out and added that size to that cornerback room. That's exciting.
Just a funny thing here. So he's a freshman.
Yes.
True freshman.
Just got to school.
Yep.
As a prospect, 247 rated him 92, the 26th cornerback in the country.
Mm-hmm.
What has changed that made him a 90 and the 7th safety in the country?
Bro, the transfer portal range, it's like you just have to take a star off for big hits. So makes no sense.
It makes no sense at all. But I'm excited for this, and you are adding young talent, which, again, a lot of people used to think you couldn't do that in the transfer portal.
And, Scotty mentioned off the top too, with this coaching staff, why wouldn't you want to play cornerback here? And he totally recognizes that. That's what he told Alan True at 247 Sports. He said it was the coaching staff. That's why he chose Colorado.
Period.
Obviously, Coach Prime, Kevin Mathis, all those guys, but this is a massive get. They beat out Miami, Florida, Miami, Ohio, Houston, Purdue, among many others. So this is one of the biggest and I think most impactful just in terms of the actual program for the next 3-4 years.
Yeah.
Biggest commitments of this entire offseason so far.
Who did Colorado beat out for him?
Miami, Florida, Miami, Ohio, Houston, and Purdue.
It's a good list. And obviously Miami, Ohio is in there because he's from Ohio. He was the first Ohio player that Kansas State signed since like 2004, like 20 plus years, which is an interesting kind of stat.
Very interesting stat.
But after the commitment of Noah King yesterday, who is still a 4-star transfer, on 24/7 Sports, Colorado now has the number 20th ranked transfer class in the country. Smack dab in between UCLA, who just landed a 5-star quarterback in Nico, and Alabama, who's at 21. So Colorado, at this point, like I said, 25 commitments in total from the winter and the spring portal now. Top 20 in the country in this recruiting class, or this transfer class, I should say. So that's encouraging stuff.
Well, and someone will point out, well, they had number 1 the last 2 years. They just don't need the volume this year that they needed before. And so now you're looking for quality over quantity. And there was a time there, especially year 1, where it was really quantity.
Right.
You had to just bring guys in who you took a lot of flyers. This is like targeted, scouted, let's go get this specific guy.
And a lot of these dudes in the secondary particularly, I'm looking at have multiple years of eligibility left. RJ Johnson, Tayon Parks, Noah King has all 4. Makari Vickers obviously has all 4. John Slaughter, who they just brought in, has multiple. Terrence Love has multiple years of eligibility. TJ Branch has all 4. So there's a lot of youth in the secondary. And like you mentioned, while the transfer portal class might not be as highly ranked as it was last year, I bet the high school class is higher than it was last year. 100%. So that's kind of the trade-off that you are looking for in a good program.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk a lot more about that tomorrow, but the Buffs are obviously gearing up for a massive high school recruiting weekend. Yeah. I'd probably compare this one to the Julian one last year.
Okay.
In terms of the type of talent, the stars they're bringing in, literally. I mean, it's multiple 5 stars that they're bringing in over the weekend, and it's in the trenches too. So we already know it's I think David said in the comments, it's, wide receiver U, CBU, whatever you want to call Colorado, but they know where they have to improve, and that's where the emphasis is moving forward.
Yes, sir, ski.
I'm excited to hear from our guy Cliff Hill about just like what this type of weekend looked like.
Mm-hmm.
We will,
yeah. All right. Let's talk about Domata Peko Jr. and Harrison Taggart. But first, let's take a break. Shout out to our friends over at Lucy Nicotine. 100% pure nicotine, always tobacco free. It's just the season of being outside. It's in May.
Sure is.
What?
I just pressed the button I shouldn't have.
Did you mess up the thing?
Yeah.
All right, great. But anyway, shout out Lucy. Just be ready, man. You got to be ready. Like if you're going into the arena to take on a gorilla, you got to be ready with your nicotine pouches as well.
Dang.
I prefer the mango and the apple ice, Arceza mint and espresso. It's raining right now, by the way. You can get a variety pack to try all their flavors. Damn. Let's level up your nicotine routine with Lucy. Go to lucy.co/DNVR. Use promo code DNVR to get 20% off your first order. Lucy has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. Again, that's lucy.co and use code DNVR to get 20% off. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
I found the undo button.
You're going to have to show me that.
Shout out to our friends over at Empire today. They put this floor in below us. The floor that was here before that was a danger to society. There were screws and pieces of shrapnel popping out of it. It was
food.
Yeah, it was nasty. This thing's been in here longer than that one. Looks the same as the day they put it in. That's the type of floors that Empire today has for you. Everyone needs a home floor advantage, and so you should get your own. At Empire today, they can help you have your own home floor advantage. And you can get a $350 discount when you use the promo code DNVR with our friends over at Empire today. $350 with code DNVR. Restrictions apply. Visit Empire today/DNVR for full details.
One last thing, maybe potentially on the cornerbacks secondary. Coach Primes said that he wants to add one more. He said this spring game that he wanted to add 3 corners. They've added 2. Y'all want to see one more? Or you think this room is?
Oh, yeah.
Is all right.
You can never have enough.
100%. But also, I mean, you can't count Makari Vickers until you see him on the field. At this point,
that's fair enough.
So I think that's another thing
for sure
that is throwing a wrench in that room.
Yeah, it seems like the only things left on the checklist from Coach Prime after the spring game: their defensive tackle, that linebacker or two, that corner.
Chill out.
Another running back?
Running back in the center.
Yep.
You said what?
All right. Speaking about linebacker, though, we talked a lot about Harrison Taggart yesterday. He's been taking his time. He's gone on visits. He's really trying to, make just a smart, educated decision with where he's going to finish his college career. He's down to 3 schools: Cal, NC State, and Colorado. And my immediate impression when I see that group is Colorado better win this one, man.
Bro, I agree, bro. And not only for the obvious reasons of like the coaching staff and Colorado just being a much better football destination than those other 2 schools, but Harrison has been, teasing all 3 of these fan bases the last week. I don't know how you can sit on Twitter and see your interactions and not want to pick Colorado. Buffs fans are applying the full court press on Harrison Taggart right now, and for good reason, because like I said yesterday, that is a hashtag need for this defense, Harrison Taggart is, and Buff Nation is acting accordingly. And like I said, I just can't imagine Harrison Taggart scrolling on his phone the last week or so and thinking that Colorado isn't the place that he needs to be.
Being like, wow, the Wolfpack's real strong.
Cal's fan base is really...
I love the Calgorithm.
Some social media analytics here for you.
Look at the numbers, bro.
He on April 25th, he tweeted NC State with the hands covering eyes emoji and then the eyeballs emoji, 93K views. Then he posts him at Cal in the stadium, 73K views. Then he posts Buffs ? With a picture of the helmet, 237,000 views.
What about the one of him holding the weight?
He did another round.
He did another round.
NC State. He's wearing a Letterman jacket, pointing at the camera. 41K views. Cal. He's just white backdrop, but in Cal uniform though.
Bro, no aura to that picture, by the way. Like no swag, like nothing. That was crazy.
53K views.
Yikes.
Posts him in the weight room in a full Colorado uniform. 171,000 views. It's not even close.
Yeah, it's not close. And you're right. Like if it's all about that, and of course we play for clicks, so we're gonna get that. No, I mean Colorado's fan base is unlike any other. Honestly, going from BYU to Cal or NC State is going to be a huge letdown because BYU actually has a really great fan base themselves.
They do.
Yeah.
Cal does not. And NC State, I'm sure, has a solid one.
Yeah.
I can't speak on that one very much, but Colorado is by far the premier destination out of those schools. And I don't know what those other schools are working towards or building towards, and I don't know what their linebacker depth looks like. Mm-hmm. But Harrison Taggart comes into Colorado he's going to be a starter, and he's going to be a big part of a defense that has a chance to be really good. Be a big part of a team that has a chance to compete for a conference championship.
Yep.
And I feel like that's why he's doing that. That has to be the reason he's doing that. Like you said, rounds, trying to see who really rocking with me, which fan base is rocking with me, wants me the most. And Colorado has made it clear from a fan base perspective that they want him the most. And like I said, it's for a good reason. Like this is a guy who has started 16 games over the last 2 years at BYU. He started every single game for BYU last year. He was their second leading tackler, 69 total tackles on the season. He obviously had a sack on Shedeur in the Alamo Bowl. That was his first career sack. Had an interception last year. Had 3 or 4 pass deflections as well. And BYU was the #1 scoring defense in the Big 12. And Taggart started all of those games and was a big part of the reason that they had arguably the best defense in the conference. So, and I think still 2 years of eligibility left as well. So Harrison Taggart, like I said, would be a massive get. He's a hashtag need. And like I said, they signed Nikhai Hill Green, last spring. It was a game changer at that second level for this defense. I think Harrison Taggart can have a similar impact.
Definitely.
Do you think that this is a bidding war, though?
It could be.
The question is,
I don't know.
I'm curious why, if it is about money, of all these schools, BYU could probably pay him the most.
Honestly, you're probably right.
So that makes me question that. Although maybe they recruited over him, maybe I'm not sure what their situation is.
I think he might have got just kind of pushed out. They have like 4 or 5 linebackers that played a lot for them last year.
They had one that went absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Just looking at the stats.
Okay, so maybe that has more to do with it. But hopefully he becomes a Buff. Tag in, twin.
I think Cal has some money. Don't they have Ron Rivera GMing the football team now or something?
I mean, if they had some money, they had all 6 running backs hit the portal.
They did, but
so I mean,
it's not like they're CSU or something.
I know. I hear it. I hear you. I don't know. We'll see.
That Cal picture.
It's bro, oralist, bro. Like the ankle socks, bro. It's like, bro, what are we doing?
All tough.
No background, that's
versus
insane.
the weight room one.
Yeah, bro, it's like 2 different worlds, honestly.
All right, Domata Peko Jr. When did he commit? Was this Tuesday we talked about him last week?
2 nights ago, yeah, I think this was Tuesday.
Either way, obviously Domata Peko's son, he's a JUCO recruit. We talked about all that. 247 Sports put out their class of 2026 JUCO rankings. Did you see this?
No.
Domata Peko Jr. is ranked the 3rd overall JUCO recruit and the 1st ranked edge in the 2026 JUCO class.
Sick.
Fire.
He's going to be a player.
Yeah, and sometimes fans just do this. People just thought, oh, it's just because his dad is on the coaching staff, and he's not really the one. His younger brother is. Mm-hmm. No, dude, he can play.
He's had a really good season at I can't even remember. Canyons?
College of the
College
Canyons.
This last season, he's gonna play one more this fall, and then December he'll be eligible to actually enroll and become a Buff like full time. So there's still a way to go, and he can even improve on that. But early returns are promising.
What is the reason for that?
I don't know exactly. I guess he's just entered as a 2026 JUCO kid as opposed to a 2025.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if your first commit in the 2026 class is the #1 ranked edge in JUCO, it's a good start to the 2026
Damn
class.
straight, man.
And I think that 2026 class is going to be added to here real soon. Maybe perhaps, as soon as next weekend or something like that. Obviously, with a lot of visitors here in Boulder this weekend. So, like I said, Peko could play, and he looks the part too. When we saw him, a couple weeks ago at the spring game,
Tall kid.
Well, it looks like a player.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You turn on the film, like he can get to the quarterback. He has skills. And you could just imagine too, like growing up in that household with like offensive linemen, defensive linemen that you can consistently kind of get reps in, in your family.
Yeah.
Like I feel like those are invaluable reps that he's been getting, since a shorty. So Peko Jr. is a great ad, obviously, for this 2026 class, a good start to it.
Sticking before we get on to fill in the blank. We talked about Noah King off the top, and a lot of people brought up DJ McKinney with that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's getting some draft buzz. We're of course a year away from
Yes,
the
he should.
2026 NFL draft. But Jordan Reid at ESPN put out I think this is his first one for 2026. His early first round predictions. I mean, he's just kind of obviously there's a lot to go. There's a whole season and everything, but names to watch out for. The few quarterbacks that we know of, but at number 24 to the Green Bay Packers, he's got DJ McKinney.
I can see it. It's a first round
Back-to-back
talent
years
right
with
there.
first round picks would be pretty sweet.
It's definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
Could be 3 years in a row with seed after that.
Oh yeah. He's a lock.
No doubt. That's what's up, man. I mean, DJ got everything in front of him this season. If he goes out there and does what we all think he's capable of doing, what he's looked like he's on the precipice of this spring with just kind of transforming his body, getting more, filled out, continuing to work on his technique and continuing to take high-level coaching, that's an NFL player right there, a first-round draft pick for sure. And I'm excited to see him kind of realize his potential in that aspect.
Just for Big 12's sake, there's two Utah tackles ranked ahead of him, or selected ahead of him in this mock. Spencer Fano is one, and then the other one is Caleb Lomu.
So you telling me Devin Dampier finna have 2 NFL tackles blocking for him this
Sounds
season?
like
this
it.
Season?
Sounds
It's pretty
like
crazy.
Texas Tech edge David Bailey is also on the list. He's a guy we talked about quite a bit. He was the Stanford edge,
Right.
who's one of the top players in the portal once all that Stanford stuff went down. But basically, as it stands right now, DJ McKinney is a top 3 Big 12 draft prospect heading into the 2025 season.
Hell yeah.
I'm so excited for him.
Hell yeah.
And
So someone in the comments just said that Harrison Taggart is 30 years old, and I thought like maybe he not actually was 30 years old, but like did his mission or whatever. He's 21.
Yeah.
So no.
Started his career at Oregon.
Yeah.
but to tie it back to Noah King, I mean, if you have DJ McKinney kind of like being what Travis was last year for DJ, and DJ can kind of, continue that the culture, the foundation that was laid over the last 2 years.
Preston included.
Preston for sure as
Continuing
well.
that.
Absolutely. This is going to be massive for Noah King, man.
Smart decision, young man.
You need a corner? I know a king.
I was waiting on that one from you. I was wondering when that would come up.
I like how you've been adopting the smart decision, young man.
Oh,
Especially
yeah.
with the Tennessee commits.
Well, yeah, I
coming
had
in.
to get him with Tennessee. Also, I don't think I'm going to throw the specific person under the bus, but one of my friends texted me after that and was like, "It's nice to see like you're getting old too," because they thought I was just like calling him a young man.
Wow.
And then I responded. I said, "That's a meme. You're still the old one."
Right. That boy just told on himself. That's hilarious.
All right, let's take our next break.
Shout out to the squad over at Breckenridge Brewery, man. We are big Breck Brew fans over here, man. Especially big fans of Breck Brew's new West Coast style IPA, the Ridge Runner. So this double dry hop brew is inspired by the untamed beauty of Colorado's trails and creates notes of bright citrus and pine. As y'all know, Breckenridge Brewery is the official craft beer of DNVR. Breck Brew has a beer for any occasion, and there is no better way to watch a game than having some Breck Brew. Y'all already know what my favorite Breck Brew is. It's the Fun Slinger, of course. You feel me? You already know how I get down. But check out the beer locator at breckbrew.com to find a brew near you. Shout out to Breckenridge Brewery.
And also shout out to our friends over at Elevations Credit Union, where you can directly contribute to the success of CU student athletes through NIL, with Elevations donating 2 cents for every swipe you make with the Go Buffs Visa Signature Rewards Card. Benefits include up to 3% cash back on CU tickets and merch with select CU merchants, 2% cash back on restaurants, gas, streaming, and phone plans, and 1% cash back on daily spending. Plus, you get free popcorn at home and basketball games. So tons of perks. Sign up. Go to a credit union. Go to Elevations Credit Union, man. They're going to look out for you. They've been doing it since 1952 out here in Colorado. So you know they're reliable and you can trust them with all your money and money moves. Go Buffs with the Go Buffs Visa Signature Rewards Card, the only official credit card of CU Athletics, only at Elevations Credit Union. Visit buffscreditcard.com to apply and see full card benefits and details.
I see the meatloafer is back at it. That's a damn shame.
Wayne, my guy, what's up?
You got to hang it up, my guy. Hey, before we move on.
Loving Meatloaf being the hill that you want to die
bro.
on is wild.
Having Meatloaf be your personality, Wayne, is like not okay, bro.
Wayne, I stand with you. It's underrated,
It's
bro.
not okay, bro. Let that go, for real. Colorado now has 10 spring transfer portal editions.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Who's y'all? What?
I want to talk about Hykeem Williams.
Is he your guy you're most excited about? Why do you want to talk about Hykeem Williams, Jake?
Because just looking at the stats, and a lot of people, this happens a lot to 5 stars, right?
Yes.
You underperform, you enter the portal, whatever happens, people view you as damaged goods, basically, right? At best, sometimes.
For sure.
They say this guy's overrated. He's not meant to be a 5-star. The page isn't loading right now, but the stats were he had 167 yards this last year.
This past season, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Which obviously not a lot. Florida State had 2,000 yards passing as a team.
Oh my God.
That's why I said, bro, they had DJU was their quarterback, bro.
Yes.
We're not going to sit here and act like we should expect him to have had production in that system last year.
So I'm probably, I think, higher on Hykeem Williams than a lot of people, especially nationally, but then some people appear to be at this point. I'm just saying, you should be excited about this guy coming in.
16 catches for 187 and a touchdown last year.
The fan base, and this is a side effect of a good thing, but the fan base has gotten so spoiled.
Yeah.
For real.
So spoiled. 5 years ago, if a former 5-star 1 year into his career transferred to Colorado,
Yeah.
everyone would, or is he 2 years in? Either way.
2 years.
2 years, sorry.
Either way, people would be like, oh my God, here it is. Same thing with getting the number 1 JUCO player at a position.
Yeah.
People would, be doing backflips.
Florida State threw for 2,164 yards, and as a team, completed 50.6% of their passes.
Oh.
50%.
Who was their leading receiver?
The leading receiver was Ja'Kai Douglas. He played wide receiver. He had 32 for 519, so that's pretty good.
It's brutal.
What would that have placed on Colorado?
I can
Fourth
tell you here in a second.
at best,
What was
probably
it,
not even that.
He said 519.
519. He's probably fifth. I mean, Shedeur had 3,800.
I mean,
So you
Shedeur
got-
threw for 4,100.
41?
You said 519.
Yeah.
He would have been fourth.
Yeah.
Okay. How close is fifth?
I mean, Jimmy had 441 and only played in.
8 games?
Yeah.
My God.
It's insane. But yeah, I completely agree with you, bro. Like I said, that's why I said the other day about Hykeem. I'm like, gee, let's not judge this man who had DJU throw into him last year.
Yep.
And again, he was able to, get some playing time as a true freshman on a loaded elite offense. So I think that bodes well for his future. I'm excited about Hykeem, though.
Yeah, people forget how good Florida State was 2 seasons ago, and he was able to get on the field immediately as a true freshman. Like, I'd argue he even lived up to the 5-star capabilities with that feat alone, playing as a true freshman and showing some of that promise. It's just the quarterbacks and offense and the team, frankly, kind of let him down last year.
100%.
What were you going to say about the 10 transfers, though?
Just curious, your guys' person you're most excited about or interested to see kind of play here amongst these 10 additions.
We'll get to that. Okay. Let's play fill in the blank.
He just remembered that. It's already one of his fill in the blanks.
Great minds think alike, man.
Jeez.
Whenever you're ready, Alyssa. We got 5 of them. First one. This is Scotty's idea, too. After Arden Walker, blank should be the next favorite to lead CU in sacks this season.
It's a great question, whoever thought of that.
Who you got?
I've got a sneaky one, I think. Reggie Hughes.
Wow.
Had 4.5 sacks last year at Jacksonville State. Kind of played off the edge a bit. I don't think he's going to be doing that at Colorado.
He can really rush from the second level, though.
Exactly.
It's a good pick.
Give me him as a blitzer. Not to, diminish the other guys on the edge, but Reggie can do that. He can do that for you.
I like that a lot. I like that pick. I'm going to say
give me Sammy Sachs.
Yeah.
It's your guy.
It's my guy. I think that he's being slept on right now because he didn't participate early in the spring.
You're right. You're absolutely right. There's 0 Sammy Sachs buzz, and it's because of that.
Yep.
We didn't get to see him. Don't forget about that guy.
I'm going to give you a name in the similar vein as Sammy Sachs, and I'm going to go Keaton Wade, who's missed some time this spring, but had 4 sacks last year, was third on the team in sacks last year in pretty much 4 or 5 games. I think Coach Livingston is going to have a role for him to specifically rush the quarterback, and he has proven that he has the ability to get, quarterbacks on the ground and, actually complete the play when he gets into the backfield. So I like Keaton Wade here. I think he's a good bet.
Let me ask you this, and I don't know how many of these questions this will fit for, but who is the best case scenario for Colorado? Like, if this guy's second in sack.
Quincy Wiggins.
I was thinking that or Jaheim Otis.
That if it's Jaheim Otis, that is big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think best case scenario was one of the freshmen.
That's another good one, Scotty.
Yep.
London Mara or Alexander Pearson, because if you have a true star freshman edge rusher, I mean,
we saw
scary.
Last year was kind of the season for that in college football.
True,
you had
bro.
Dylan Stewart at South Carolina, who was a
nasty.
game changer.
I couldn't believe he was a freshman.
Colin Simmons was nasty at Texas too. There were a handful of them.
There's pretty much nothing Dylan Stewart can do the rest of his career that won't make me, every time I hear his name, remember him just unloading like an AK into someone on the ground.
The whole clip.
It was one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Oh, man.
It was wild.
He's a dog, though.
Like, he's going to have to win like a Super Bowl MVP for me to not think about that every time someone says his name.
Oh, man.
Next one. Blank is the most overrated coach in the Big 12.
That boy Jay coming for next.
Oh, man. Okay. Most overrated coach in the Big 12. So they have to be rated highly to be most overrated.
Yeah. There's some pretty highly rated coaches in this conference.
Yeah, I'm going to go with my gut instinct here. The first name that came to my head right when I heard this before I start going through all the names, Mike Gundy.
And I will accept this because last year was technically an anomaly in what he's done at Oklahoma State.
Yeah, but I don't know. He's put into a pantheon of coaches that have accomplished things. And he's never really accomplished anything. Now, that doesn't mean that, like, it's kind of that old catch-22 of, like, Nebraska fired Bo Pelini for being Mike Gundy.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since then, they've wished they could have Bo Pelini. So that doesn't mean he's bad. It just means, like, he's just eh.
I think Gunny was the first name that came to my mind as well, but I'm going to go with somebody, and I truly think this is the right answer. Lance Leipold.
Bro, that was my answer.
I guess
That's the answer.
that's the right answer, bro.
Yes.
Why does he get looked at as an elite?
I don't think he does.
College football. He does, bro. If you look at all the rankings from like the Big 12, like last year, going into last year, even this year, like it really doesn't make sense. He's been the head coach at Kansas for 4 years now.
He's living off 2023 at this point.
First year he went 2-10. The next year he went 6-7. The next year he had a good year, which got him pretty much all his buzz. They went 9-4, and last year they went 5-7. And
bastards.
it doesn't really make any sense. I just don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't understand why Lance Leipold is looked at the way he is, and the fact that he continues to trot out Jalen Daniels as his quarterback is infuriating.
It's crazy.
I don't get it.
It's crazy.
Why can't you get a quarterback,
year
bro?
when Jalen Daniels wasn't good?
Bro, he did it last year when he obviously shouldn't have been the starter, and he's about to do it again this year.
I'm just saying. There's only
I hear you.
before that he was actually good.
He was okay. He was all right. And even
Promising, I
that
guess.
year, they were 6-7.
He wasn't even so. Leipold's best year at Kansas
it was
in 2023. It was Jason Bean who started or played 12 games. Jalen Daniels only played in 3.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And then they benched Bean, and then Bean played in their bowl game and was slinging.
Yeah.
And now I think he's in the CFL.
Another one I'd throw out though. I kind of think Joey Maguire.
Is Joey Maguire rated?
I don't think.
I mean, and just in terms of the hype Texas Tech is getting right now.
I feel like it's only. I mean, if they wet the bed this year, then I'd be willing to put him on this list. In this conversation. How long has he been there?
Let's see. Who was before him?
I feel like Maguire hasn't been there super long.
2022. He went 8-5, 7-6, and then 8-5 last year, and now
this would be his
everyone's
4th year.
Yeah,
Bro, anyone in this room could coach Texas Tech, and that would be their record.
that's what I'm saying though.
That's what I mean. He just is. I don't think he's rated or underrated or overrated.
But like, I feel like people talk about Texas Tech this year, and they look at their transfer class and they're like, "Oh, watch out for Texas Tech." Are we that sure?
Fair enough. One that I think is really unpopular, but I also think is true, is Kenny Dillingham. Now,
Let's hear it.
I like and respect Kenny Dillingham, and I think he's good.
Yeah,
But I think that the success that they had last year has vaulted him into places that I don't know if he quite belongs yet. And I give a lot of that credit to Cam Scatterbo.
Yeah. If they do it again this year, he belongs in those conversations. But
Yes.
Right now, it's still a bit early.
And I'm just thinking of the term overrated.
Right.
I think he might be a little overrated right now, even though I think he's a good coach.
Fair.
Next one. The most impactful spring transfer this season will be blank. So what's the list? We got 10
Most
of them.
impactful changes.
I can name it if you want. Xavier Hill, Sincere Brown, Tion Parks, Terrence Love, Hykeem Williams, Luke Whiting, John Slaughter, Larry Johnson III, DeKalen Taylor, Noah King. I'm going to pick DeKalen Taylor.
Give me LJ3. Oh, sorry. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
And I was give me DeKalen Taylor.
Tell the people
I think he's
why.
going to be a problem and explosive weapon in the run game. I don't know if he's going to be the starting running back, but he's certainly going to be in the rotation. I think they're going to hopefully get creative with getting him touches and what he could potentially bring in the return game as well, both as a punt and kick returner. I think he is going to be a touchdown scorer for the Colorado Buffaloes this season. DeKalen Taylor is.
Give me Larry Johnson. I mean, I think he's going to start on the right side of the line and be a really big upgrade for the Buffs there. And I think that he's going to be part of a duo on that right side, which averages 6'7", 342, or maybe just 340.
345.
Okay.
One's 350, one's 340.
That changes the game in terms of how this team runs the football.
It's a good one. Bless you.
You guys picked 2 good picks. I was going to pick DeKalen Taylor.
You want to beat me so bad, bro. It's crazy.
DeKalen Taylor, wow.
I think I'm going to go Xavier Hill, though. With how bad the guards have been the last 2 seasons.
Jake, he's a tackle.
Right tackle.
I I took a slight victory lap yesterday.
As you should, bro. You earned that, bro.
Thank you.
You earned that.
Shout out to my guys in the spaces. Those guys are
Wild.
they're hilarious.
Yes.
Is what I'll say.
They'd be cutting up for sure.
But give me Xavier Hill. Just solidifying the interior offensive line with him and Zai. Just that's tip of the spear, man. I mean, I don't even think you need a crazy center. If it's Zarian McGill, that's fine. I think even if it was Cash with those two.
That's what I said, bro. Me or you could play center with Xavier Hill and Zai Cruz on either side of us, bro. I swear.
It's going to make Jordan's job easier,
Hell
which I think makes whoever the right tackles, whether it's Phil, Larry Johnson, Cardet, whoever it is, having a stronger interior is just going to make a world of difference. It's going to make a world of difference for the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
They're not going to be under siege immediately like Shedeur was the last 2 years. Runs aren't going to be blown up at the point of the handoff, basically. You know what I mean? Like, it changes a lot of things when you have that interior solidified.
For what it's worth, those are the top three names I would have picked: Xavier Hill, Larry Johnson III, and DeKalen Taylor. And from a personnel perspective, I think the best thing that this recruiting staff did this offseason was obviously and significantly improve that offensive line. Mm-hmm. Like Zy Chrysler and Xavier Hill, in addition to Larry Johnson III, are going to be massive contributors to this offensive line and a big reason why this offense should be a lot more balanced. And I don't want to say more explosive, but I think balance is the right word.
Balanced and versatile.
Yes.
Shedeur Sanders will start blank games for the Cleveland Browns in 2025.
17.
Really?
Yep.
The number that immediately popped in my mind was 11.
I was around 13, 14 range. And I think he'll be the starting quarterback by October at the latest.
I could maybe see them doing the Joe Flacco thing for a couple games to start the season, but I just think that the thing about the narrative, which is that Jimmy Haslam forced the hand and said, pick this guy. If that's the case, which I don't necessarily believe, but if that's the case, then what's going to happen when he goes out there and sees that Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback in practice, he's going to say, start that guy.
Swear.
And Shedeur, to me, is light years ahead of any of the other guys.
I agree.
Other than just the experience that Joe Flacco has, which obviously gives him a big head start in a training camp setting.
I do think that the 5th round selection does play a role in this. Honestly, I think the Browns need to make a quarterback move before we even get to training camp. What's the point of having 5? Yeah.
Right.
Deshaun Watson isn't
it's
there.
4, bro.
I
They
mean,
have 4.
still 4. Teams go into the season with 2 quarterbacks sometimes.
They're not going to go into the season with 4. That's for sure.
What move could they make, though? Cutting Kenny Pickett?
Sure. Why not?
Or trading him. I don't know if anybody's going to be interested in him, but
or if Shedeur
same for Flacco.
Well, they
you could trade
traded
him.
for him.
If Shedeur is really like that in rookie minicamp, though, consider doing it to Flacco. He's obviously the lowest ceiling, lowest leash in terms of how long he's going to play.
Yeah, I think that's. I think I read that tweet yesterday. That's the easiest out of the quarterbacks right now is just cutting Flacco before the season starts.
I mean, you should just do it tomorrow.
I agree.
And just let him go find a different team for training camp.
I mean, it's not
he
like
is a fan favorite, though.
But he probably doesn't want to do training camp anyway, so maybe he doesn't even take that many reps on it.
I think ideally you just try to see if you can get anything for Kenny Pickett, like a 7th, a 6th, whatever. And maybe that might have to come closer to the season as maybe an injury pops up around the league. But I think that's the best case scenario. You just get Pickett out of that room. You have Flacco and obviously Shedeur and Gabriel. That's your quarterback room.
Yep,
I think that works.
We got one more. Last one. Zach Atkins will finish as Colorado's blank most productive pass catcher this season. This is a shout out to my guy T Copes the dog on Twitter because we've been talking about this over the last week or so.
5th.
How many touchdowns do you think?
5.
That's about where I'm at.
I'm thinking like 500 yards and 5 touchdowns.
That would be a phenomenal season for him, I think.
I think like fourth. I think fourth.
So you say more productive than what RK said?
You said you had him fifth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like in terms of like he had, you said what, 505?
Yeah, I'm gonna actually lower that a little bit just because it's no longer Shedeur as the quarterback, so 500 probably doesn't get you into fifth. 405.
You think he does better than that, Scotty?
I agree exactly with what Wayne says here. I never thought I'd agree with Wayne on anything, but that's exactly what I see. Fourth leading receiver on the team, 4 touchdowns.
How many yards?
450.
Okay.
So I think you guys are right. I think it's around the 4th spot, but just think about that though. If a tight end on this team has just 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, that means so much for this team because one, he's probably on the field a lot, which means he is blocking his ass off and he's an impact in the run and pass game. He's probably a red zone weapon. If not, he's just a great play action seam stretcher, whatever it is that you can count on for, I don't know, 40, 50 receiving yards a game. That turns into at least 1, if not 2 or 3 first downs with that type of production.
And I feel like people are sleeping a bit on his route running ability and his pass catching ability. If you go turn on his film from Northwest Missouri State, like bro is running the route tree like downfield, like not your typical, hitch, speed out. Like bro is running deep overs, right? Drags, corner routes, from split out positions too, not just an inline tight end spot. So Zach Ekins, obviously, I think, missing the first part of spring this year with his illness or whatever, probably prevented him from, showing everybody, at least at Colorado, what he's really capable of. But as we get into fall camp and as the season approaches, I think it's going to become clear that he's going to be a focal point of this offense.
Welcome to the show, Aquila.
Yeah, the reason why I picked him higher is because, or in that area, is because I think he's going to be on the field for more snaps than a lot of wide receivers. Because the wide receivers are going to rotate more, and he's, pretty clearly tight end 1.
Do not sleep on Colorado's tight end room this season, man. I'm starting to feel really good about it, honestly. Not just Zach.
Charlie.
What we saw from Charlie. Corbin Lazier, again, for a freshman, that dude is huge. And Zane DeSouza hasn't even showed up yet.
You remember when Tim Brewster said, I want this my guy to be a player that no one calls Mikey?
I think so. Yeah.
He's like, I need him to be tougher. Like he's just Mike now.
I do remember this.
So I'm going the same thing. We're calling him Chuck Williams.
Hell yeah, let's
That's
go.
a tight end who's gonna get out there and do some dirty work.
Absolutely.
Chuck Williams right there lining up.
That's funny as hell.
I'm with it. That's everything. You got anything else before we get to chat?
Louis Riddick puts out his annual list of his favorite non-first round prospects. Did y'all see him put that out yesterday? He does this every year.
I saw him talking about it on ESPN. I didn't.
So wait,
see
he's
the list,
doing his favorite players for the NFL that weren't picked
in the first round. Yeah.
Okay.
And he says that he tries to not do an obvious just second rounder for every team, right? One Colorado Buffalo. That
would be a funny bit though.
LeJounte.
No, not LeJounte. You want to guess?
Is it Shedeur?
Jimmy.
It says Jimmy Horn Jr. is one of his favorite non-first round prospects in terms of somebody who he thinks could be a significant contributor or starter within the next 2 to 3 years. And I agree. I think there's a lot of opportunity in Carolina, I think, for Jimmy Horn Jr. to crack that receiving core that is still kind of unsettled and really young. And obviously he's going to have opportunities in the return game as well. So Jimmy Horn Jr., man, I think that's one of the best spots that a Colorado football player landed in this draft. And I'm excited to see him and Bryce Young be able to grow together.
Dang, it's gonna really confuse people that Joe Horn's actual son is on the Panthers. JC Horn.
Yeah, true.
And now Jimmy Horn is there.
That's crazy.
They're gonna think that's just his other son.
They're gonna think they brothers. Yeah. Literally.
Did you guys see before we went live, Malik Neighbors was talking Shedeur on his podcast?
He was preaching, dog.
He was.
Okay, but I have an issue with this because remember when he was asked about playing catch with Shedeur?
Right, he shook it off.
And he just downplayed it so heavily. I'm like, you probably could have done Shedeur a favor there by being like, man, Like, the organization is going to do what the organization is doing, but I really like Shedeur.
You know who I felt that way about recently?
Who?
And ironically, we were just talking about it. Louis Riddick. When he got on ESPN a couple weeks ago and was like, I don't think he's going to go in the top 3, and I think his camp doesn't want him to go in the top 3. I think that did some damage. Obviously, with how everything kind of played out, him saying, I mean, somebody like Louis Riddick saying something like that on that
Especially
national
right
platform.
After being at Pro Day.
Yeah, like I feel like that could have potentially done some damage. And obviously, we're not going to sit here and blame Louis Riddick for the fall, but that just was a thought that came to my mind this weekend when I was thinking back.
I think it was a perfect storm of a lot of factors.
It was.
And yeah, I mean, a lot of things could be looked at, but the world will see.
Sure will.
Absolutely no. There was so many variables in play that it's hard to even just point at one thing and say this is what happened to Shedeur.
Maybe one day we'll hear the real story.
Yeah,
Maybe.
we'll see. I was gonna say something else about this.
No, but Neighbors was
can't
preaching though, bro.
What did he say?
He was like, bro, he was talked as a top 2 quarterback the whole time. How does
Says
he fall
it's
to the
no
5th
way
round?
in hell he goes 5th round.
Yeah.
Here, these are. I haven't watched these. Oh shit! I thought there was more. That's the only one I can see right now. Also, this is what I was gonna say. Shedeur like showing up at the middle school yesterday or whatever, and just like doing Shedeur things. The confidence just keeps growing in me that like the NFL messed up so bad, and Shedeur's just gonna be. He's just Shedeur. Like I don't even know what else to say. He just is who he is.
He is, and I'm sure there's a million comments being like, "Oh, trying to really win the favor of Cleveland."
Yes,
blah
bro.
blah blah. No, this is just what he does. He did it in Boulder. He did it every time he went back to Texas. He's done it in other places. I think he did it in New York when they were out there, or maybe it was I don't know. He did it somewhere else too when they were just there for a brief time. That's just how Shedeur is. He truly like embraces his role as a role model.
Yeah.
And not a lot of not everyone does that.
No.
There are certain guys who say like, I'm just a football player. Why are you looking at me as a role model?
Yeah.
And on that too, the Browns fan base has actually kind of learned quickly. I think like they're kind of defending him and like really taking to him already.
Well, and he's the hope, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're a Browns fan, you're not thinking like, okay, Kenny Pickett's gonna save us or
Right.
Joe Flacco's gonna save us, and like maybe if you're somehow a Browns Oregon fan, you're thinking Dylan Gabriel's gonna save it. Everyone else is thinking if we're being saved,
It's that
Shedeur is the one.
No doubt about it.
Yep.
Oh, New Orleans, that was one that he went and visited the kids too.
All right, to the Twitter chat we go. Essence Services asks, is Noah King in summer camp?
Fall camp?
He'll be here for training camp in July. Yes.
Yo.
I miss summer camp, man.
I went to sports camp when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah, me
that
too.
was. Oh man.
It's like a different sport every couple hours.
Yep. We went to the pool every day. We were just like in a like gym, like a middle school gym. That's where it was, and we would just do whatever.
Yeah. Then I mean, the best one when I was a kid was CU football camp, and we got to stay in the dorms.
Nice.
And then at night we would go into the back then it was the Dow Ward was their version of the Champion Center. Like that was where the training was. We'd go into the big team meeting room and watch like replays of old Buffs games. And then sometimes after that it would be a movie. Like in the morning you just play football all day. Oh, it's the best.
Sounds like a hell of a time, man. That's when summer was like something that you still looked forward to.
Oh, that was when it was the prime of your life, bro.
Now it's just summer is here. It's like, yeah, it's still cool, but it just don't hit the same.
I mean, I do really appreciate this job for the fact that the summers are kind of like the off time,
Yeah,
and I kind of get that feeling back again. But
Man, to have no responsibilities.
tell me about it.
Man, bro, swear.
I saw Essence Services asked about Brody McCorder. Yeah, I don't think that was ever really going to happen. He went to Mississippi State.
Okay.
I'm telling, bro,
sick
they
of 'em,
took
bro.
the board. Like,
Yeah. Just snap some pics on
Yeah.
the way out.
Swear.
we are headed to overtime. If you want to catch the rest of the show and you're watching on your television, head on over to thednvr.com. What's up, Ivan? Any chance Coach Prime and company changed Chris Henry Jr.'s mind?
Yes.
nothing is impossible, but he went to Ohio State, and he is a 5-star wide receiver, and he has been labeled next by a lot of people. So,
Next buff.
All dogs to Colorado.
Let's go. It's a great relationship with Juju.
he does, yeah.
The ties go even deeper than that. Domata Peko ties.
Yep. Pac-Man.
Pac-Man, yep.
Yep. Never say never.
We're still 7 months away from early signing day.
Yep.
A lot. can
Maybe
happen.
Brian Hartline gets a head coaching job somewhere else.
You never know.
Yep.
Never know.
Someone should do that, by the way.
I agree. Evans even says, "Does anyone know how Gage Goldberg is doing?" He's working his ass off.
Yeah.
I'm sure, like all the other guys.
Grinding.
I have no idea where Brian Hartline went to college, but I just assume it was Miami of Ohio.
He was like a 7th round pick.
Why do you assume that?
He just looks like a guy who went to Miami of Ohio to me.
He better not have actually went to Miami of Ohio. He is from Ohio. You had
Okay.
to have known that.
I did not
I mean,
know
he's
that.
the offensive coordinator at Ohio
Well,
State.
the obvious
Yeah.
answer would be Ohio State.
He was born in Canton.
Oh.
Did he go to Ohio State? Is
He
he, a
did,
legacy
yeah,
guy?
he did, yeah.
Okay.
Dang.
Yeah. Dude's Ohio through and through. Ended his career with the Browns, too.
I mean, dude, he's been with Ohio State for what, 8 years? Even more now?
Yeah, he started in 2017.
Yep.
Cincinnati's got to be due for a coach, huh?
That's his only coaching job, was been Ohio State. He's been there ever since.
Man, he's crushed it too.
Facts.
Maybe he just wants to be a wide receiver coach. That'd be so annoying.
Well, he's their OC now.
Yeah, he's got promoted.
Oh, okay. No, he's gone.
He's
Cincinnati, come on down.
Be careful what you wish for when you say Cincinnati too, because remember we have them in conference.
I know, but it's fine. I'm not threatened by him as a coach.
What's up, Eric? Who has the biggest learning curve with the new roster? Coach Liv with the defense or Pat Shurmur with the offense? Pat Shurmur,
Pat Shurmur.
without a question.
Yeah, I mean, by far.
Next, super chats.
Chatski.
What's up, Kev?
Uh-oh.
Salute to DNVR and Cam Newton? Question mark. You can't say that Shedeur is too loud when you're dressed like Dr. Seuss and the Riddler's bastard child. And then he says hi, RK with a salute.
Bro, there's
East Coast Kev.
no way Cam Newton said Shedeur is too loud, bro.
He says a lot of things, man.
I hope he didn't.
He was basically saying that like Shedeur has resting bitch face, and that affected his draft stock.
I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut.
Like that's basically what I don't remember
Wow.
his exact words, but he was basically saying like, oh, he has like a smug look on his face.
Nah, fuck it. I'll say it. Shedeur would dive on the ball, unlike Cam.
Let's go.
Oh man, Cam wilding for that.
He's
Cam's still heard about the whole
He is,
sideline
exactly.
interaction at UCF.
yep, exactly.
Definitely.
Last one from Tom. Completely unrelated to today's pod. Nugs, Avs, Rocks all playing tonight within 30 minutes of each other.
Jesus.
What is the over-under on how many TVs will be tuned into the Rocks game in all of Colorado?
5.5, I guess, for setting an over under. God, yeah, Rockies have 5 wins on the season, so 1 TV for each win.
Does the bar have a TV on the Rockies tonight?
I sure as hell don't think so. But Henry will be here, and he's one of the 5 people who would have a TV on this. And so
Spence will be here
he
too?
might ask. Yeah, Spence will probably be here too. So we might have a couple masochists who want to watch the Rockies game.
What word did you just say?
Masochists.
What does that mean?
I believe it's people who like pain.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Never heard that one before.
You've never heard that?
Add that one to the vocab list.
That's good. Scotty.
You made me second guess myself.
You did sound unsure.
I was like, did I just say something I shouldn't have?
All right. We will be back tomorrow. Massive recruiting weekend. We're going to talk all about it tomorrow. So make sure you tune in. See you then. Go Buffs.
Let's go, Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.